Risk of Rain 2 has been one of my favorite games for a few years at this point. There are so many things that make this game special. For example, the stages and art style are so unique that you can find something similar in other games. Well, maybe not that I know of at least. Today I'm going to watch the trailer for the most recent DLC that came out, Alloyed Collective, and try to make a soundtrack for it by just looking at the visuals. I never heard what the original sounds like. In fact, I've been postponing to play the DLC. I told myself that I would only play it after I finished this video, so let's get right into it. Okay, so here's the trailer for the launch of the DLC, and I'm going to watch it and let's see what we can find out. Okay, there are some things that already had the game already had. New stages, let's see. Okay, I'm going to have to pause because there is too much cutting going on. Let's look at some of the stages. Okay, that's a mix of nature and some technological stuff. Let me see this one. Okay, so more deserty places and maybe a spaceship that wrecked. This looks interesting. Again, there's some snow and a few what looks like some other spaceships or like stations, like headquarters. I don't know what exactly they look like, but let's see. Okay, so here we have like more techie stuff like cables and platforms and metal and lasers and shit. Okay. Let me see here. This kind of looks like some stage that I have already seen before, like the moon place where you go to the blue portal. But it's kind of more greenish than blue, more like open spaces that you can drop off. But I don't know what would this sound like. I'll have to think of for a little bit. And what else? Again, more deserty places, and I can see something kind of like a structure in the background with the boss, the jellyfish, or I don't know what's the name of that. But yeah, okay. That is the new survivor, Drifter. Let me see. Drifter and operator. What else do we got? It's too fast. Oh my god. More tubes. Oh, there's new drones now. Okay. So I'm thinking maybe I'm going for that electronic sound, like mysterious atmosphere. I don't know what else I'm going to. Okay, this is interesting. This is a boss. Let me see. Kind of looks like it's not very new because there are marks in the walls, burn marks. Kind of looks very futuristic, but also, I don't know, maybe ancient. That looks interesting. I'll have to find out something that matches that. By the way, I'm going to make a soundtrack for all of this, not just any stage or in particular or any survivor. Thinking of the aesthetic of the whole DLC, from what I can see here at least. Let's keep on going. Whoa. That looks cool. Nice. New drone, or maybe a boss, I don't know. Looking pretty cool, not gonna lie. This makes me want to play this game a lot. But I'm gonna try to actually do the soundtrack before, and let's see where we can go with this. I think I'm gonna grab that still of that part of the stage that I liked, which is the final boss here, and I'm gonna use this as a reference for what I think the soundtrack would sound like. Let's see what I can do with this. Okay, so first step is gonna be finding a sound that I like, that I think fits the atmosphere of the stage. It can be like a pad or ambient sound or a lead. I don't know. I'm going to scroll through the presets and of Serum and think of something that works with what I have of the visuals. Let's go. Okay, I like this. This sounds interesting. Maybe like a pad for like a background ominous sound. I'm gonna mute it for now, but I'm going to try to find a lead sound so that I can make a melody. Let's try some things out. Okay, I found something I like and I made a little melody for it just to test it out. Maybe this can be the melody that I use, but I don't know. Here's what it sounds like, and I can use the module to do some automation and make it a little bit spicier. I like it. Sounds good. Let's try to find other pieces of the puzzle. Okay, so the next step for me is figuring out some percussion stuff that fits the whole song. I think I'm gonna start with some shakers maybe, or like a kick or a snare, and let's figure this thing out. Okay, so I found two loops that could be the base of the percussion. After I'm gonna layer it with like snares and kicks and make it my own thing. Let me show you. Okay, so here's one of them. It's more ambient, like just a few clicky things, and this one for a more intense sounding part. I think I can get those two, and then maybe something like this. I'm not gonna use this one, I think, but this sounds pretty cool actually. Maybe I can use this one. I think this rhythm works with what the song is. And let's try some things out. Okay, so now that we have this this kind of a loop, I think I can maybe introduce some bass to the song. I've already pushed one octave up in this synth. Like I could maybe do one octave higher. Yeah. Okay, now we have some room for the bass. And as per usual, I'm gonna bring Serum 2 up and try and find some bass sounds that work with this. Again, I'm not gonna make you watch through this whole finding sounds again, but just so you know what I'm going for here. So I made this bass line. This is the first sound I got, and I think it sounds pretty good already. Very simple, but it works. And then I found this second one, which I actually prefer than the other. I think it translates better than the other one, and together they sound like this. Okay, I think that's it for the bass for now. This is what I would say it's the chorus or the main part of the song. Maybe I'm gonna try to do some things to mix it up a little bit. For now, it's sounding pretty good. Since we already have a busy melody, I don't know if it's good to introduce more stuff already. Maybe I'll do that just in the end of the song to make it more intense and more exciting. But I think for this part, it's already pretty juicy, if I might say. I think I'm gonna go for a part B now. I'll try to come up with something more unique for this part. Okay, so for this B section, I got this synth to make a new melody and mix things up a little bit. This is what I got right now. And it repeats, of course, but this is what I'm working with right now. I guess I'm gonna try to use the other elements that I already have and try to come up with some different kind of rhythm and maybe a different bass. It's more simple than this previous one, just to give a little contrast. After this B part, I'm gonna maybe do a little break and go right back into the main section. So let me try a few things out. So remember when I was talking about the stage reference picture? Looked like it had some futuristic elements, but also kind of ancient. So I'm thinking about doing that in this B section, incorporating some more traditional percussion with this sound which is kind of electronic, and trying to mix those things up to try and create that contrast of the ambient. Maybe it will be very unusual and strange, but I'm kind of excited for it. Okay, so I found a few sounds. Just put them here in the first part of the B section just to show you what I have. This is a tom, like a very low and roomy tom. Here we have rattle. I don't know what's the name of that exactly, but I can use that as a transition. And this one, another one is a drum roll that I can use as a transition. This is another tom, but very short. This is the tambourine hit there, I guess. It's kind of not very present, but I think it works with the rest. This is a kick, very lot of body, but not too much attack, just so it sounds like a more natural, more, as I said, more of a old style kind of way. Last one is a loop that I got, but it sounds very interesting. It already has a kind of a groove that I can maybe layer with the other stuff and try to make it a little more interesting. Now I'm going to try to come up with the percussion section and try to flesh things out a little bit. So I'm gonna see you after I finish this. So this is the first version of the percussion section that I have for the B part. Here's what it sounds like. Okay, so I'm not that happy with the bass I have. I chose a different one for this part, but I think I'll maybe later try to fix it and find something that fits some ambient pads and different sounds and try to lean more into that old style or maybe ancient sounding stuff. Like I thought of maybe a choir, very deep and low voices. And that's it. And I'm gonna finish all that off cam. Thank you for watching. If you have any suggestions on what I should do next, please write them in the comments, and see you next time. Okay, so here's one of the most important things I forgot to do, which is actually hearing the original soundtrack. And let's see how different it is from mine. Let's go. No way, dude. Wow. Oh my god, it's actually rock and metal. With real drums, indeed. This is what I would have liked to have done. Oh my god. It's kind of very upbeat, just like my chorus that I made, but in another completely different genre. That sounds so cool, man. Damn. That hits hard. And very guitar heavy also, which is what I would like to lean on more, because it's my favorite style of music, like rock and metal. Yeah, but very different from what I had. But it's nice to hear how people interpret the same visuals in a very different way, and interesting to see that me, even as a rock and metal enjoyer, I have done something so different from what I like to do, and then you hear the original stuff and it's just what I would have liked to have done, you know. Very, very cool. Very cool. I prefer this version to mine, but I'm happy with my final result. But yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching.